What's going on, everybody? This is Justin Irvin once again, thanking you for joining me once again. It's another episode of Look and Live, where we are going over what I call the 5 W's of documentary filmmaking. One of the most powerful devices in documentary filmmaking is the use of archival footage. This, to me, is the best device ever made for putting the audience directly in the seat of the when of a film. To me, even better than biopics or historical films that seek to use techniques such as props or set design or clothing, costuming to put you back in the era. The archival film is king, and I'll tell you why. There's something about the common collective experience of a joint memory in seeing this archival footage come back to life. Something as simple as old home video footage in the hands of a capable director can be transformed into a magical experience that takes you right into the lives of the characters and the when of when these characters lived. This footage may be black or white, it could be grainy, it could be film, it could be digital video, it could be high 8, could be old cassette tapes. And that's important too, because the audio is a big important to the archival when. And not stopping there, mixing contemporary interviews with classic footage is a great way of bringing your viewer into that point in time. But let me give you a couple examples, a couple more comps to show you what I'm talking about, and maybe give you some inspiration for some weekend watching. When it comes to comps for inspiration, there are almost too many to name. One of the trends happening in documentary filmmaking right now, and one I actually kind of enjoy, are recent history documentaries. So for example, the first one I have for you is Wild Wild Country by Chapman and McLean Way. This documentary came out in 2018 and was an immediate hit. The directors take us back to the early 1980s, a time when America was still wrestling with big questions of freedom, identity, and community. The series tells the wild and unexpected story of how a spiritual guru named Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh and his followers built an entire city in the middle of rural Oregon. And what starts off as a bold experimentation in personal and collective freedom and utopian living quickly spirals into a tense standoff with the locals, the media, and eventually the federal government. What makes this documentary so compelling is the use of archival materials as recorded by the people that lived through the process. The directors used real footage of real people and then went back and interviewed the people that stood out the most to bridge the gap between what was filmed in the 1980s and what is lived now by the people who experienced it then. It's an amazing film, one I highly recommend, and you'll see why. Another amazing film that places us right in the when of a subject is Let the Fire Burn. Directed by Jason Osder, this documentary film puts you directly into one of the most heartbreaking chapters in American history. And it's recent. It all happened in 1985 in the heart of Philadelphia. This film tells the story of a radical black nationalist group called MOVE, who had a direct standoff with Philadelphia police. It describes how years of tension with the city came to a devastating and almost unbelievable climax. I will spare you the details. I just recommend you go see it however you can, because this is one of the most amazing examples of recent history documentary filmmaking that I can recall. Furthermore, it's all done through archival. No interviews, no contemporary accounts, all the use of either newsreel footage, home video footage, or otherwise footage captured at the time of the events that took place. Highly recommend you watch it. It's a powerful example of bringing us directly into the when of the moment. Another amazing documentary that relies heavily on archival as well as expertly done recreations that put you directly in the when is The Greatest Night in Pop, directed by Bao Nguyen. When dozens of pop stars all converged in Hollywood to record a song that would eventually make up music history and raise millions of dollars in famine aid for USA for Africa. What's the song? What's the moment? We Are the World. What was it like to have all these stars, the biggest in the world, all converge in one place to record one song in one evening? Bao's amazing directorial skill takes us right into that moment in time. Speaking to our point earlier of bridging the gap by using archival footage and modern day interviews, Lionel Richie, Bruce Springsteen, Huey Lewis, Cyndi Lauper, others all give the account of what it was like back then as they sit in the chair now. Their recollections bring a new life into the grainy footage that we see from back in the day. And to me, the crown jewel of archival documentary filmmaking is OJ, Made in America, directed by Ezra Edelman. This documentary series actually won the Academy Award for Best Documentary Film. It shows expertly how all these different events converged upon the head of one man, OJ Simpson, from the LA riots to the Rodney King beating to other incidences that led to that fateful night in Brentwood. What Ezra does so expertly brilliantly is weave in how all these different events, all these different whens converge upon the when of that one fateful evening, leading up to the trial, leading up to all the events that happened subsequently. This film is a must-see, and I recommend highly OJ Made in America to anybody who is looking to make an archival documentary. One of my absolute favorite documentary films is called A Time for Burning. Directed by Bill Jersey, this film was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Documentary in 1968. It's the story of a white Lutheran minister who, after the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1964, seeks to do a bridge building campaign with the Lutheran church down the street, which happens to be a black church. One of the reasons this documentary film is one of my all-time favorites is because it is a pristine example of 60s verite filmmaking. What is verite filmmaking? Cinema verite is a term that was coined to talk about film truth. And what it is an unbroken look, as seen by the camera, uninterrupted, without specific sit-down interviews, where the camera follows the actions of a group or individual of people. The filmmaker then takes it to the editing room, cuts up a film, and allows the events that took place to speak for themselves. This is a classic example with an amazing story that puts us right in the when of the events. So there's your when. One of the amazing things about the when is that it can place us firmly in the time and the space of when something specific was happening to a particular time in history. It can also bridge the gap between past and present by doing the same thing, linking the interview process to archival footage. Or we can watch a film at the moment it was made, in the inception of when it was created, placing us in that time capsule that we wouldn't have been able to explore before. These elements of the when of documentary filmmaking are fascinating. It's amazing how these films will help give context to thinking, acting, and feeling. And like I said before in another video, this one, the gray area of humanity, is the best part of documentary filmmaking. Not showing polar opposites, but through the convergence of all these experiences, showing us the complexity of human thought and behavior. So, there's our when. Hope you enjoyed it. If you would, click this video or this for 2 more examples from our W series of documentary filmmaking. And once again, thank you for making it this far. If you've made it this far, why don't you put, "Are we there yet?" That's our when. When are we gonna get there? Thank you so much for watching. Please consider clicking like, subscribing, sharing. Until next time, y'all, just keep making. Look and live.